Okay. So a few weeks ago, we did a game where I drew on the board and y'all came for me. Y'all said I can draw. I still believe that I can draw. So we're gonna attempt this again, okay? So I'm gonna draw something step by step and you're gonna tell me what it is I'm drawing. At any point, if you feel like you figured out, you can just simply put it inside of the Zoom chat where I will look. And that's it. So let's go. I gotta look at the picture, y'all, because I'm the best. Do anyone know what it is as yet? No, it is a line, but as in what I'm drawing. Yeah, O'Neill, this is questionable. All right. Does anyone know what I'm drawing as yet? It's not a bowl. Yes, the line is crooked, but I'm not trying to draw a crooked line. Not a box. All right, let's go on. Yeah, I'm not drawing a rectangle. Okay. It's not a radio. All right, so here's the next part. Anyone know us yet? No, it's not a tree. Oh, Neil, you so close. I promise you, Neil, yes, you cooking with oil. Mm-mm. What type of stitch? Ah, Tico. Yes, it is a gallows. You are absolutely correct. Yes, it is a gallows. And now, for those who may not know what a gallows is what persons would use to hang people. But he gone deep in the web and he got it right. Okay, that's all we require is the right answer. And he got it. Very good job, Tico. All right, so today's lesson, hold on, let's admit the people in the waiting room. Today's lesson is on Haitian Revolution. And this was from the time period of 1789 to 1804. This is just the introduction to it. Today's lesson is instructed by myself, as usual. Now, let me just say very quickly that the reason why Gallo was chosen to be drawn was, as you see in the photos here, during the Haitian Revolution, a lot of the Black or the enslaved people would actually hang the white planters or persons of higher authority who enslaved us. What do you want to be sent to you, Destiny? The notes? Yes, if you're referring to that. Does anyone know an Alicia? Let me know quickly, please. Okay. So let's go. So today's objectives are to locate Haiti on a map of the world, to explain the colonization process for Hispaniola, and to classify the social dynamic of Haiti. Okay, so let's go. I see my chat moving. All right, so before we begin, I want to do a quick revision, which is why I have titled this, I've Got This, because I know that my students got this. Okay, so I'm going to present 3 statements or questions, and you're simply going to, when I say 3, 2, 1, go, you can place the answer in the chat. First person to state the correct answer will receive the bonus points. Are you ready? Let's go. Blank and blank were ways slavery was better in the Bahamas than in the West Indies. So you can put there any two reasons why slavery was better in the Bahamas than in the West Indies. 3, 2, 1, go. Destiny said marriages and houses, and she is absolutely correct. Sierra, you came in right after. Tavad, you gotta be quicker than that. Okay, so definitely the ability for slaves to be married in the Bahamas was a way that slavery was better in the Bahamas and the West Indies. In addition to the houses were bigger. So good job, Destiny. Let's go to this next one. Be ready, okay? The last message is Tava laughing face. So anything after that, I'm looking for. What was the main crop grown in the Bahamas? 3, 2, 1. Hold on, I didn't say go. Go. Ah, Shoya. Shoya. Y'all said it, but y'all have to wait for go. It was indeed cotton. Ah, Quentin, you went before the time, Quentin. Okay? All right. Now let's go to the next one. But I did know that majority of you got it right. So excellent. How did the cultivation of cotton create a better life for slaves in the Bahamas? 3, 2, 1. Sorry, 0. Go. Do trade. Not really. Not what I'm looking for, but a very good attempt. How did the cultivation of cotton create a better life for slaves in the Bahamas? We mentioned this when we talked about plantation in the Bahamas. Who can give me the correct answer? No one? All right. So remember when we spoke about the type of crop grown in the Bahamas? We said cotton. We also mentioned the fact that sugar plantation, yeah, they deep in Google. Y'all disappointing going. No one got this one. Places like Haiti and other parts of the world like Cuba. I see Destiny typing something. No. They they would have used they would have produced sugar. And so the work to produce sugar was more intensive than it was to produce cotton. So the mere fact that we didn't produce sugar meant that that the slaves had a better life in the Bahamas. That's all I wanted. All right, so when I ask you that question again, I need you to be able to answer. In short, the reason why the cultivation of cotton created a better life for slaves in the Bahamas was because they didn't have to cultivate sugar, which was a much more labor-intensive and dangerous cultivation process. Simple. Okay, so I need one student to screen annotate. I'm gonna zoom in. I want you all, or at least I need the first person to mark where is the island of Hispaniola. I didn't see K Ronin on this. And Tabal, oh my God, Tabal take over the whole thing. Okay. So, Tabal, I see you, and also, who's this in the yellow? Okay, I see Sierra. Who's not in yellow? Quentin, awesome. All right, so that is the island of Hispaniola. You're absolutely correct. Now erase it off my screen, please. Thank you. Let's move on. You're so smart. All right, so someone, thank you. Let's look at Hispaniola, okay? So Hispaniola is present day Haiti and Dominican Republic. So the Dominican Republic was found on the west, and no, Dominican Republic were found in the east, and Haiti was found on the eastern end. The colony, the France, which they colonized, and you notice it was a key term early on, which means they dominated, they controlled. They took over the western part and they call its colony Saint-Domingue. Okay? So France took the western 1/3 of the island from Spain. So they had the least amount of land. And we're going to find out how is that, why that's so interesting very soon. Okay, so imagine if, I want us to all imagine if you were given an island full of people and resources. What would you do with that island? I'm curious to know. Place your response inside of the chat. What would you do if you were given an island full of people and resources? And Destiny said she would party. Is that because of coronavirus that you went to party? What else? What else would you all do? This is not a trick question. Just curious to know what you would do. Destiny said she'll kick the people off. Taval said he won't run it like Nassau. Choya said she'd sleep. Azara said she'd start a business. Taishawn said, if I built a kingdom, I would die from assassination, so basically do nothing. Why would you think you would die from assassination? If you treat your people good, most likely your people will treat you good too. Quentin said he would expand it. Sierra said to take care of the people and provide a reasonable amount of services and resources for the people. Raynar said tourism. Kieran said yeah. Okay, so why did I ask you this question? Despite the fact that Hispaniola was not given to France, eventually by domination, they took control of Saint-Domingue, right? So what they did was a island full with people, because even before we had imported the Western Africans from off the Western coast, you had indigenous people living in there. So that people full, they had people on the island and they had resources. But what do you think they did with this? We will find out, okay? So upon arrival at Saint-Domingue, France observed that indigenous population was virtually exterminated. As a result, Africans primarily from West Africa were imported as slave labor to produce raw goods for international commerce. We talked about this earlier. Saint-Domingue was considered France's richest colony in the 18th century. Haiti was known as the Pearl of Antilles. Now, I want you to understand this, that when we said the colony, we weren't even being specific to to the Caribbean, We're thinking about the 13 colonies, the various colonies along the eastern coast of the United States. We're also taking in consideration of South America. And that 1/3 of that island was considered the richest colony. And they were deemed the Pearl of Antilles. That's profound to me. We're going to find out some more. So shortly before the Haitian Revolution, Saint-Domingue produced roughly 40% of the sugar and 60% of the coffee imported to Europe. Now, I'm not saying that they produce 40% of the sugar within the island. No, they provided 40% and 60% of sugar and coffee to Europe. And Europe at that time had the greatest population because people didn't really expand out to this area until they started to migrate Africans over here to work. So majority of the people lived on the eastern side of the world, on the old hemisphere. And so for a small little 1/3 of Hispaniola to be able to provide such goods, that spoke volumes to how productive it was, how rich it was. The colonial economy of Saint-Domingue was based almost entirely on the production of plantation crops for export, sugar and coffee. That's the only thing that mattered to them, was the production of those crops. Remember, when we talk about earlier key definitions and terms, when we talked about commodity, we talked about how the bottom line at the end of the day was to make money. And so they didn't care about anything else but the cultivation of such crops. Let me know if anyone have any questions. If not, we're moving on. Okay, awesome. So the characteristics of Saint-Domingue, we're continuing. The slave system in Saint-Domingue was regarded as one of the harshest in the Americas, with high levels of both mortality and violence. So let us not forget, when I asked you earlier what made the cultivation of cotton easier for the slaves in the Bahamas. And I said, because we cultivated cotton opposed to sugar. Sugar was very harsh to cultivate. In addition to having to plant the stuff in the fields, picking them, shaving them, they had to boil it over a large pit, which oftentimes results in limbs being lost and persons even being killed in. And let me also add that at some point, some slave masters actually used to push people in there as a form of punishment. That's very high in terms when we think about violence. To supply the plantation system, French owners imported almost 800,000 Africans to the colony, which by comparison is almost double the number of Africans carried to North America. Again, I tell you, this small little colony exceeded the 13 colonies, and I wish I'd included a photo, but it's just the very touch of the eastern part of the United States. So places like we know to be Maryland, New York, those islands. And yet Haiti was the one who had majority of the slaves. So now let's look at this. The social structure in the Bahamas. So I have various categories. We have wealthy foreigners, wealthy Bahamians, we have poor immigrants, we have poor Bahamians. I want us to place in order how you think our social system is to date. What do you think? The French still own Haiti, right or no? No. One of the results of or the effects of the Haitian Revolution was their freedom. They became free, which is why they're considered a republic. But when we talk more about Haitian Revolution, we will definitely get into that. But they are definitely a free nation, more free than us, arguably, because they don't have to answer to anyone at all. So now let's look at this. How would you categorize this? Who would you put first? Would you put poor Bahamians to the very bottom? Would you put poor immigrants to the very bottom? Would you put wealthy Bahamians to the very top? Would you put wealthy foreigners to the very top? How would you put it? Let's put it in chronological order. So you could go one being the greatest and let's just say four being the lowest. How would you categorize this? I feel like that's the right order, but swap the last two. And I would have to agree with you. And so if we look at how our social structures in the Bahamas, we can see some level of similarity to that of Saint Domingue at the time. Let's look. So here we have it here. So we have the grand blanks, we have the petite blanks, we have and I want y'all to know that I was on YouTube trying to figure out how did the French people pronounce this word. Okay, so here's what I came up with. A quanchi. Now, if you know this word is pronounced different, please let me know. But this is what the pronunciation tool gave me. And then we have the slaves. What I also want you to take notice is as you go along the bottom, you have more people. Towards the middle, you have like less people than the bottom. But still, what typically would happen is you will have more people. Well, it's kind of different because the second would be a increase or a decrease from 87, like, so the number would be like maybe 70, 60, 50. And then when you go up to the grand blanks, you will have even lower numbers. When we see a difference in essence, you have to the very top, the grand blanks and the petite, which made up 8% of the population. When you look at the Aquinchi, they made up 5% of the population. And when you look at the slaves, they made up 87% of the population. So that's quite interesting. I see my chat glowing up. So who were the Grand Blancs? So the Grand Blancs were the plantation owners. They were the white plantation owners. The Petit Blancs were known, or Petit Blancs were known as the white farmers that had a smaller farm. They didn't, it wasn't at the same commercial, well, I wouldn't say commercial, but large scale as the Grand Blancs. The Affranchis or the Aquanchi is actually known as the mulattoes. Jean de Cola referred to the freed blacks, and the slaves referred to the enslaved Africans. So let's look at it. Here you have a diagram here. You see the white people, you see the Jean de Cola here, the freed blacks, which is often maroons who, run away. And then you have the slaves here to the very bottom. Just showing you an image of it. So society in Saint-Domingue, okay? The mixture of races that eventually divided Haiti into small, mainly mulatto elite and an impoverished Black majority began with the slave masters' perception of African women. The slaveholding system in Saint-Domingue was particularly cruel and abusive, and few slaves, especially males, lived enough to reproduce. So what we saw in the United States was when the slave trade ended in 1804 and the production of slaves was no longer possible, they began to breed the slaves. So they'll take a man and they would forcibly breed a woman in order to create their slaves, because they could no longer go to Africa for it anymore. But in Saint-Domingue, you couldn't do that because the labor was so intensive. Let's think about it. I'm going to get a little bit candid. If you have worked all day long in the hot sun doing extreme labor, do you really think you have time in the evening to have sex? Most likely not. And so we saw that to be a problem back then. And they didn't have a long life expectancy as well, because the pressure was so great on their body that a lot of them didn't live to see, like I said, over and over 30. And I think 30 was a very high age when we think about the colony of Saint-Domingue. Any questions so far? No? Awesome. So, while the masses of Black slaves formed the foundation of colonial society, the upper strata evolved along the lines of color and class. So when we looked at the social structure of the Bahamas, if you notice to the very top, we had decided that the wealthy foreigners would go above the wealthy Bahamians, and that's because there are two main components that decides your level or your status. That's color and class. So class is often associated with your finances. So because you have, let's look here, you have the rich white plantation owners and you have the rich mulattoes. The rich plantation owners and the rich mulattoes may have the same amount of money, the same amount of field, but simply because the mulattoes, who is half Black, has a ounce of Black blood in them, then they now come under the white plantation owners. You see the same trend again in the poor white French immigrants and the freed white mulattoes. Both of these people have similar statuses. They're free, they're not enslaved, but at the end of the day, they don't have any money. But do you see who is above who? The poor French immigrants is above the Black mulattoes. And so color and class played an instrumental part in figuring out how or where persons would be in the social pyramid. So most commentators have classified the population of the time into three groups: white colonists or blanks, free Blacks, usually mulattoes or genicola, people of color, or Frenchies or Aquenchi, and the slaves. So the conflict and resentment permeated the society of Saint-Domingue. Beginning in 1758, the white landowners or the Grand Blancs discriminated against the Aquenchi through legislation. Statutes forbade gender colors from taking up certain professions, marrying whites, wearing European clothing, carrying swords or firearms in public, or attending social functions where whites were present. The restrictions eventually became so detailed that they essentially defined a caste system. Now, this is basically where the meat of our lesson ends today. And you may wonder, well, why did the social class or the social pyramid in Saint Domingue cause such great issues? Because we had a bunch of different persons within our society wanting various things and not being able to get it. To the very bottom, when we look at our slaves, they wanted their freedom. The mulatto slaves wanted their freedom. And I want you to note as well that you have mulatto slaves and rich mulattoes because that was solely dependent on the slave owners, whether or not they wanted to afford their offspring an opportunity to rise up in the rank, or whether they wanted them to, denounce any sort of lineage to them and leave them to the bottom. But let's look at the Maroons didn't want to be running anymore. They wanted their freedom. They didn't want to be enslaved anymore. They didn't want this life. This life wasn't a life for anyone to live, and they didn't want to live it. So their main problem was they wanted their freedom. When we think about the rich white plantation owners, they wanted more rights here in Saint Domingue, which France wasn't giving them at the time. The only thing about the poor or the petite what it is petite blanks, they wanted to have more of the opportunity to climb up the ladder. They wanted more rights, and those were things not given to them. The mulattoes wanted the right to vote. They wanted the right to go have an education. They wanted the right to be married. They wanted those things, and the people weren't affording them that opportunity. So here we have in our society, we have various people unhappy, and that created tension that ultimately led to the Haitian Revolution. One second. So what the people did was they just joined forces. I tell people all the time, unity is power, and people fail to realize that. There's an expression that says, divide and conquer. Okay, if we look at how this society was divided, you were divided on the basis of your color, on the basis of your ethnicity, on the basis of you being half black, half white, on the basis of your money, on the basis of your status. They divided the people. And that is why a lot of times we as people can't get things done because we are too divisive and we don't know when to unite. So all these people came together and they said, enough is enough. They said, we want more. And that's when the Haitian Revolution started. So this is a very big component in understanding the cause of it. Is there any questions so far? O'Neill, no what to speak loud. So Deval said, you think if the Bahamas go independent, we can be like Haiti or worse? Um, no, I think here's the thing. I believe Haiti and the Bahamas could learn things from each other. The Haitian people are too passive, and Haitian people, at least the Haitians within Haiti, they don't know that there's a time and a place. Like at some point, you have to put down the pitchforks. At some time, you have to put down violence, and you actually have to take a different stride. When we think about how Haiti got its independence versus how the Bahamas got its independence, it's very different. We went to the legislative matter, we went to the courts. Haiti fought for what they deserve, and I amend that for them. I commend them for that. However, it comes a point in time when if something isn't working, you have to change. We've been doing it the right way all the time. We vote in people who we feel as though will serve as well. We vote in people, we honor the structure or the society with things that we have in place today, but we don't see a different result. So why do we continue doing the same thing? Why don't we just say, okay, enough is enough, action is required? And then I pose to Haiti as well. Well, okay, the rioting and all of this, it ain't working for us no more. Let's change the way we do things. So I do feel as though no, I don't feel like we'd be worse. I feel like we could benefit from the things that they do. All right. You have to have a balance, essentially. But that's just my humble opinion. All right. So let's look at this question. Do you think the Bahamas needs a revolution to see real change? And Tavali was on point with this already. I really want to hear what you think about this. Do you think the Bahamas need a revolution to see real change? I seen yes. I don't see my chat ringing off as much as it should. Don't make me start calling names. Some of you are really quiet today. Okay. Can I have one person on their microphone and tell me why do you think the Bahamas need a revolution to see real change? Let me see who I haven't heard from us yet. Mhm. Huron, I am curious to hear what you have to say about that. Megan, you haven't been responding in the group. Manojka, you're being quiet in the group. Sunshine, you're quiet now. I don't know what happened. Trivial, Tico, wake up. Let's respond. Okay, so Neil said because only time we saw real change was when stuff like Burma Road riot happened, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force isn't equipped enough to stop a mob, so we would eat them up and get what we want. I like the way of thinking, okay? And I believe you did pose an excellent point. I don't do politics, the same politics, baby. It's a simple question. Let's go. Let's see. Taval. What says he? I've been quiet about this one.
What you say, Miss Amanda? Sorry.
I say, what says he? I haven't seen you comment on this one.
I think that yes, we need a revolution to see some change. I ain't gonna lie. Like you said, we too passive, and the same people who sitting down on Facebook making noise and what's not, they could put on their boots and get out there and march. Like we too passive. We just have a bunch of talks but no action.
I like that. Yes, Destiny. You cannot.
I feel like yes and no because like for it to be a real change, it has to be something that's reoccurring. Like for somebody to really be like, like or somebody to be like ahead of it to keep it going. Like people is start something then it is just die down. So it wouldn't really be something unless like somebody really behind it on trying to get this to be different.
Mm. So Destiny is saying yes, but only if they actually go full throttle with it. They don't do it half stepping. If you can do it good. All right, now what says he?
Oh, I agree too because we already see that Menace is a bit, I would say, scared. I
Dr.
wouldn't word it
Hubert
like that.
Menace. Thank you.
Dr. Hubert Menace is a bit scared. For example, I remember the other day when he locked us down with no warning. People went out and they protested, and I think that same day he lifted the lockdown temporarily.
Okay, and that's very true. What people fail to realize is power is in the people. You understand the same way when we look at the social structure within Saint Domingue, when we look at our social structure today, to the very top, you will have few people. We outnumber the people. You have the power. You have to hold people to it. And so you're absolutely correct, as I think O'Neill said too. The Royal Bahamas Police Force cannot nowhere in the name of God, Queen's Earth, govern or control the entire population of the Bahamas. They can't even do one quarter of it. And so I don't understand why Bahamians are afraid to actually protest for what they deserve. And as Nan would have said, we have seen it worked. O'Neill too. O'Neill mentioned Burma Road riot. We saw a change when that happened, and then Niall gave a modern day example when persons like I think what's his name again? Oh Lord, I know who he is though. The man who was preached. His name escapes me right now. Him and the KCX movement decided they wanted to go on Bay Street. We saw a change, and it was reverted, and that's because people realize. Don't mind you. Even when we look at, I'm going over tangent. I'm sorry, but even when we looked at the plantation system. Do you know why they went to such great extremes or such great length to intimidate the people or to have such? gruesome disciplinary actions is because they realized that they were outnumbered. They realized that if at any moment the African people decided that they was going to say enough is enough, that was going to be the end of them. And as we saw in the Haitian Revolution, that's exactly what occurred. So the same way they knew it, our, our administration or our MPs, our government knows it as well. That's why they try to pacify people, because they don't want the Bahamian people to unite, and they don't want the Bahamian people to protest together. And that's why I don't really personally believe in the whole party politics, being a diehard this and diehard that. No, because that's division. We create division. PLPF and them that or hinders us or our ability to see things for what it is, because we're so blinded by political colors. Pay attention to these type of things. Let me read the questions and then we're gonna go on to quizzes. So get your quizzes ready. O'Neill say, right, you have to do constant protest. They'll cave in easily, honestly. The protest was weak, but you know, for the first time in my life, I'm actually proud that Bahamians are actually doing it. I believe so for so long, Bahamians have just opted to not do anything. Grand Bahamians, one nice a proud Grand Bahamian, when Port Authority's doorstep and protested against the monopoly that they have constructed, and they protested against these bills that miraculously tripled, sometimes quadrupled. I was so proud because Grand Bahamians don't get up and they don't stand up for nothing. But it's the steps for me, one step at a time. Yes, but it worked. Tabazi, true. O'Neill said exactly. A weak protest actually scared him. So imagine the biggest scale. Excellent, O'Neill. Exactly. Exactly. Shanice said exactly. Tabazi, I was blinded by red for a while. And Niall said, I don't like the point. Sure. I could go on a whole tangent about Grandma and Port Authority, but that's a different story. All right, so let's go to the quizzes again. Make sure we're ready. All right, I'm pulling it up now. Okay, starting. So it's already assigned to your class. You should be able to get in. I'm going to share my screen so you can see. All right. Let's see. Awesome. Look here. Travion, Nile, Taval, Destiny, and Brianna, you all ready? Awesome job. We're going to give your classmates 2 minutes and then we're going to begin. I want you all to know that these assignment goes towards your participation grade. So these are not in vain. So make sure join this. I see some people in here I haven't seen for quite some long time. So you know.
Miss Seminar, what the code is?
Look under your class, grade 11, A through H2, and there should be a link there to take you. There's not a code. But if you do need a code, I can provide you with the code, but it's definitely under your class. I'm going to put it there for you all. 1 second. So this is the code for anyone having difficulty getting in through the normal way. All right, so we're going to start If you are not here as yet, you can definitely join after. Or does anyone want me to wait a minute more? Speak now. Quickly, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's go, Taishan. Any questions so far about what we would have learned about the Haitian Revolution? Any queries? Any concerns? No? All right, we have plenty of people today. So let's begin. Let's see, we're gonna be out the gate with this. Okay, Reno. Okay, Matthew. Okay, Tafal. Okay, Rakino. Okay, Manishka. All right, Quentin said this me today. Okay, let's go. Awesome, Joel. Let's see how the bottom is looking. Let's go, Brian and Sunshine and Akim and Tico and Terry and Megan and O'Neill. Read the questions. You know the answer. Let's see what's happening to. Okay, Quentin really say today it's my day, and then nothing less we can tolerate. I see you, Quentin. Okay, Matthew. Quentin, what happened? Okay, Destiny, I see you. I see you, Quentin. You're coming back. In your rush to be the first person, please understand that not always is the race for the swift. Okay? Quentin say it's still me. That's what I want you to understand. Let's go. Terry, don't you give up. Let's go. Let's go, Desmond. Let's go, Alicia. Akeem, you give up? No, Akeem, you can't give up. Okay, let's see. Okay, Ron. Are you Trump Quentin? Lord Manonchka. Let's go, Manonchka. I see you. Travion, Brianna, Sunshine. Let's keep going. Let's go, Maki girls. Terry, I see you just now. Sunshine, I saw that climb just now. Brianna, I saw that climb just now. That's it. Akeem, darling, you're gonna have to keep going. Okay, Alicia, I see you making wayments. Okay, Megan, let's not give up. You could do it. Desmond, you're almost finished. Finish it. Tico, let's go. Let's go. O'Neill, what happened? We don't give up in any circumstances. Let's keep going. Shanae, awesome. Let's go, Shanae. Let's keep going. Listen, Tico. You see how you jumped just now? Keep going. Let's go. Alicia, what happened? You're up, Alicia. Rena, just enter the scene. Rena, are you going to win it all? Let's see. I'm going to give this about 2 more minutes and then I'm going to end the game. I need you all to finish. Azaria, awesome. You see that, Azaria? Let's go. So, let's go, Shanae. Finish it. Tico. Rayno, I see you. Well, hold on, Rayno. Why you went to this game twice? Rayno, don't do that. Megan, let's go. Alicia, let's go.
I get a 77. I don't like it.
O'Neill said, yeah, this app don't love me no more. It free code. Shanae said it did free. I don't know why I'm moving so slow. That's all right. We know which one is the first right now, and he can keep his points anyway. Okay. So we have 1 more minute, and then I'm going to have the end game. I note that some of you saying that the game is freezing for you. Duly noted. Yet about cheaters never prosper. However, right now. Let's go. Last minute to get it done. We have in first place Kieran, followed by Quentin and Destiny. You see the boys name wasn't it lately though? Girls, what happened? Please tell me. You was be representing. And Niall, my fellow Grand Bohemian, if it wasn't supposed to be a girl, it's supposed to be you. What happened? Ah, Lord, see, go it be like that sometimes. Oh, no, we can disregard Renault because Renault, I think he come right here to push everyone out. Sierra. Oh, is this Sierra first time? No. These sets like cheat. You all have to do better in life. Y'all are so competitive. Oh my Lord. All right, so we're gonna end the game. Okay, Kim, I see you. I'm going to give you the opportunity to finish because I see you come back on. Let's go, Kim. Let's go, Kim. Terry, I don't like it either, but that's okay. I could tell the difference. You all know what Renault and Sierra real great is. All right. Alicia, you're still at it. Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay, Alicia, I see the jump. Who's still making payments? Okay, Shanae back on the screen. Yeah, don't do us correct, sunshine. Okay, Shanae, I need you to continue. Let's go, Shanae. We waiting on you. Let's finish this. You call hacks? Let's see. Shanae, I see you. Desmond, I see you. So what I'm going to
Excuse
do,
me, Mr. Minette.
yes, sunshine.
How Terry get before me?
Darling, Terry, he just pick up his slack. I don't know what you want me to tell you, sunshine.
Oh my gosh, you won't be like me so bad. He didn't want to do all that.
Why you don't think he want to do his best too? Okay, so I'm gonna leave the game open until 1:15. We'll give you exactly. Hold on. But Jordan see our Desmond come on and he go and take over. Do we not see that? Anyway, nonetheless, look at Sean Nathan get her 8. I know. I think so too, Kieran. I think so too. But nonetheless, I'm gonna leave this until 1:15. We'll give you exactly 5 minutes after class to complete it. I'm going to conclude today's lesson. Let's get to it. Okay, we did that. Now, in the Zoom chat, I want you to write one fact you think you knew before class and one fact you know after class. Once you would have placing your answer in the chat, you are good to go. In case no one heard me, because I don't see my chat moving. Write one fact you thought you knew before the lesson, and one fact that you know now. Destiny said, I knew nothing like always. Don't do that, because you're nice and smart about wet nurse. You know stuff. And I think as you also mentioned mulattoes in the previous lesson, you are very much so smart, Destiny. And one fact you know now was the vast amount of slaves that population had. Awesome. Quentin said, I knew where Haiti was. Now I know 90% was slave population. Hmm. Let's see. Sierra said the name of Haiti before was Saint Domingue and the amount of slaves that was okay. Brianna said, I thought all mulattoes were traded as slaves. Not all. Very good. Niall said, I knew Haiti and Dominican Republic made up Hispaniola. I know not. I know now that the revolution was inspired by the French Revolution. Indeed, it was. O'Neill said the Haitian Revolution was successful, and now I know it was influenced by the American Revolution. Well, it was influenced by the French Revolution. The American Revolution was influenced by the French Revolution. I mean, the Haitian Revolution. Brianna said, but I learned that I wasn't always, but it wasn't always the case. Excellent. Sunshine said, I didn't even know Haiti was involved in slavery. What? Saval said, thought that Haiti was still run by French, but learned it was not so, and that they actually fought for their freedom, and that the Bahamas independence was basically given to us. Yes, it was, because Britain, okay, understand this. The fact, the premise for them colonizing this part of the world or any place is to create money. The Bahamas didn't have a lucrative plantation because our makeup is of limestones, which is not conducive for farming. In contrast to Haiti, who are very fertile and still have fertile land to this day. And so we didn't make as much money as the other colonies that they had, Great Britain had. And so by 1973 or around, let's say 1964, because that's when it was given self-internal government, Great Britain was like, there was no reason to keep us. We were not giving them any sort of financial benefit. If anything, we were a financial burden. And so when we put in for our independence, it was a very easy process. But during the time of the Haitian Revolution, they wasn't trying to end they wasn't trying to end slavery, and France wasn't trying to let go its money maker. And do you know what is interesting? And we'll probably learn more about this when you learn fully about the Haitian Revolution. It's the fact that to date, Haitian have to repay France for their fighting for their freedom. The courts decided that because they robbed the slaves and the people on and Haiti robbed them of that income, that they had an obligation to pay back money that they would have earned. Isn't that crazy? But I move on. Reynard said that slavery is better in the Bahamas, and Saint Domingue was Haiti's first name. Yes. Shawnee said, I think I knew that Haiti was known for sugar, and now I know that it was known for both sugar and coffee. Excellent, Shawnee. Tico said that the French Revolution broke out in 1789. Tyshawn said, I knew about Haiti, though I didn't know about the percentage of slaves take up. O'Neill said, same thing, domino effect vibes, yes. Azaria said, I didn't know Haiti had another name before. I knew Haiti was influenced by the French greatly, and that's because they were a colony of France. Matthew said, I knew Haiti was under France, but now I know that 1/3 of the land was used for production of crop. 1/3 of the land was Saint Domingue. Now, I don't know any specifics to say how in that 1/3, like did they utilize the full 1/3 for crops, or did he just had a portion for crops? That I don't know, but I know that 1/3 is of Hispaniola is Saint-Domingue and today Haiti. Now I have not seen responses from Akeem, Alicia, Desmond, Gabrielle. I don't think I've seen anything for Quentin. I may be wrong. For Rakino, I need to see something from you. Who else? Travion, you've been quiet. Do not cost your class the next quiz. Terry, I don't think I heard your response. Oh, I do apologize, Quentin. It's a lot of you. Okay. All right. So let me